Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. Thank you guys all for joining us today. It is Friday, August 20th. And by the way, happy Friday to everybody. Monty has a day off. CJ is currently a little bit indisposed, but should be joining us shortly. And I'm sure everybody's in a good mood today. The markets are on fire. But I did want to do one thing, and that is, it wasn't realized actually until just a little while ago that today is the anniversary of when we started the Trade the Chain show. So with that, I kind of wanted to go back in time and just share this for a moment. Let's see if I could pull this up. Perfect. And take a look at what a year ago looked like. Thanks for joining us. This is our new Friday episode. It's going to be every Friday. It's going to be in the afternoon. It's called Trade the Chain, and we're going to come around. We're going to talk about market and Bitcoin, crypto analysis, what's going on, what's happened during the week, and just how price actions and market movements are affecting everybody. Definitely want to introduce, I got Ryan Gorman, Monty and CJ, and Monty and CJ are with Market Rebellion, and they head up their crypto team over there. So really excited to be bringing you this. I just want to kind of start this off. It's the first episode, so we're going to practice a little and hopefully refine this as it goes on. But the first thing we're going to do, the first segment of the show, is going to be an overview of markets and Bitcoin. So that's what happened a year ago on the Daily Show. So for all of you guys who follow like DJ Crypto or you follow Retro, you have Digital Doji in there, you got Daniel in there with his channel. Just remember, things will always get polished with time. So I felt like we were going back in time there. It was really interesting. One of the things I do want to capitalize on with today's show is definitely what happened with Coinbase today. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet. I'm sure you did. I hope so. Brian Armstrong basically came out and tweeted, "We recently received board approval to purchase over $500 million of crypto on their balance sheet." So basically taking the same approach as MicroStrategies has, as well as Square. So this is really interesting. Also, they'll be investing 10% of all the profit from the exchanges, well, I'm assuming, and any activities from the exchange going forward in crypto. And they expect this to keep growing as time goes on. One of the interesting things with this is, the fact that they got board approval, right? So they're a public company as well. They just did their direct market offering not too long ago on NASDAQ. And it's a very deeply correlated price, but we'll see how this works out for them. Definitely keeping this in mind. Also, I want to touch on Voyager Vgx Token. Now, a lot of people who watch this are part of either the VGX heroes or part of the VGX community as a whole. And one of the things that just transpired, which was a big milestone with VGX Token, a lot of us were waiting a long, long time for, is the swap. And the swap was completed for us on Eastern time. I believe it was on the overnight. And there was a lot of dislocation in pricing. People can tell you that if you were looking at crypto Twitter, there was a lot of dislocation with different venues that were buying and selling it. So what has happened now is, and Monty has joined the queue.
Hello.
How's it going, buddy? Just talking VGX and what happened with the completion of the swap overnight, which is a big deal. People back in trading it. Prices were, wow. Let me take a look here. 429. So interesting. What's your thoughts on it?
I was hoping to get some below $4, but looks like the whales had other ideas. I'm looking at you, Pat Ackerman, on Twitter. Saw you buying up all the VGX below $4 relentlessly. Can't say I blame you though. So yeah, I mean, congrats to Voyager for getting this swap done. Obviously the extent to which I can talk about it is somewhat limited, but yeah, I mean, still one of my largest holdings, and I firmly believe in the potential of VGX.
Yeah, and we have the I believe the loyalty program kicking in September 1st, which is exciting. So now there's going to be a lot more value proposition to the token as we head into the fall and the expected second leg of the bull market. So this is really exciting. I'm really proud of all the people over in the Voyager community who just rallied behind this. We just got done talking about Coinbase and Brian Armstrong's tweet from this morning, which was the fact that they just got board approval to buy 500 million of crypto on their balance sheet, as well as add 10% of Coinbase's profit moving forward to their balance sheet in crypto. What's your take on this, Monty?
Just another, piece of great news that we're getting this week. I think it speaks to the institutional interest in the space. That is what you like to see for, healthy, sustained growth is companies like Coinbase putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, because that's Bitcoin that's going to be locked up for, did CJ just disappear? Well, that was a quick appearance, but that's what you like to see is, companies. We saw it in 2020 at the end of the year at, October. MicroStrategy started adding it to their balance sheet. And what that does is that just creates a supply shock, because they're taking so much Bitcoin off the table and essentially locking it away. It's comparable to, the metric we always reference with cold storage and that sort of money flow. So yeah, this is very, very bullish news, and way to go, Coinbase.
Way to go, Coinbase. By the way, did you missed the beginning, but this is the anniversary show. Do you know it's been 1 year?
Yes, I know. I saw the thumbnail from. Look at that.
Day one of Trade the Chain right there, Monty.
The time has flown by. What a year it's been.
I mean, we do miss CJ's Bitcoin background in the window, along with, look at that COVID hair he has going on, that lockdown hair.
Oh yeah, I had right at the start of COVID, I dyed my hair like blonde, completely blonde, and I was hoping it would go away, before we started doing the show. But as you can see there, I still had some frosted tips left.
It's okay. CJ, welcome to today's episode.
Thank you. Sorry about the disruption and the joining late there, everyone. Tons to talk about. I came a little bit late, but heard you guys were speaking to the Coinbase news. That's incredibly exciting. Also, when we get a chance, I would like to discuss a little bit of the traditional markets, and especially with the blockchain-related stocks like MicroStrategy and Riot Blockchain, as well as crypto in general, because I think that the patterns that we're seeing and the bullish price action coming into the market is very interesting and very promising to see based on what we've discussed this prior week.
Totally. And by the way, Chef Dan, thank you so much for supporting us. And you've been here through so many episodes, and I always see all the comments that you leave, a lot of them snarky, and I enjoy them. So thank you. Yeah, CJ, let's talk about what's happening, because just like the title says here, the markets are on fire. We have we've had a good sea of green happening here. What can we expect to look at going into the weekend? Particularly, we're going to all get nervous because of the Sunday night, Monday sell-off. But for the midterm, where are we looking?
Very good question. Glad you asked. Let's jump in and discuss. So if I go ahead and share my screen here, let's take a look at Bitcoin, and specifically with the Elliott wave that we've been discussing. We had a little bit of trouble closing above the 0.5 Fibonacci level yesterday night, but as soon as we did, we got some really nice buy pressure at about 7 p.m. Chicago time last night. And throughout the morning after the S&P opened up very bullish, really in all the major indices and the VIX being down, we see Bitcoin continuing to rally here to our target price of about 51K. We're not seeing any correction or any weakness per se yet. We talked about the RSI this morning is still neutral and is coming back into kind of a bullish posture as we create higher lows, despite also creating lower highs. It's kind of like a neutral symmetrical triangle, which usually will lead to continuation with the existing trend. One thing that I wanted to say about Bitcoin specifically today that I found pretty interesting is that it's actually rallying in spite of a strong dollar in a macro viewpoint. Remember when we were talking about Ethereum and a lot of that very textbook W bottoming pattern. So we talked about this right here, and we're seeing the exact same thing on the dollar index. So the dollar is actually getting stronger technically, yet we still are seeing strength in the equity market and the crypto market regardless, which doesn't happen very often. So I think that's kind of interesting. Going down to the S&P, we hit those critical levels, namely on the 20 smooth moving average on the daily chart, and we bounced yesterday. And today we are seeing some further continuation of that bounce. And I'll go ahead and really specify it here so you guys can see it. But while I'm messing with the charts, any thoughts on the markets overall? Any recent trades or plays that you guys have been looking at, not only in crypto, but kind of the traditional markets?
Why don't you start off, Monty?
Well, CJ, I know you were waiting for a bullish close in the Bitcoin candle yesterday and then a continuation in that yesterday. I was waiting for the same thing, and I think that triggered my entry for a lot of altcoin positions. Let's see, a few that I think have the potential to perform very well if Bitcoin continues on this trend and breaks above, the 50K level. I think StormX is an asset that's still very overbought or oversold, so I went ahead and bought some this morning and yesterday morning as well. That asset is one I think that you can apply Metcalfe's law to, and anytime you have an asset that retraces, 80% from its all-time high, but is still onboarding new users to the network and establishing marketing relationships like they have been with the Portland Trailblazers, increasing the amount of StormX staked, etc. They didn't give up everything when they gave up their price action. A lot of assets did. StormX is not one of them. They still have a significant network effect. So I think they're one that can, springboard here back to previous all-time highs.
StormX is one that's definitely been overlooked, I think, by the vast majority throughout this recent rally. Struggling a little bit with the 2-3 fib level, but I think once we get above there, there's really no resistance historically. I mean, if you look at it initially on the way up, we went straight through that one like a hot knife through butter. And I think we'll do something similar if we get above this resistance level. But following back to Alex, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say, first of all, I mean, we had Simon on the show first back at the beginning of the year. And prior to that, I really don't think there was a lot of recognition for StormX at all. We kind of found it by accident trolling through Twitter. And their price was, 00 followed by a number. Now there's Simon's in the mix. StormX is heightened its visibility. And it's become better. I mean, real quick, I just want to show two that I'm really watching I'm looking at Terra Luna. We've fallen below $30 on that mark. So slowing down after a little retracement, and it was hot. I'm looking, I mean, if this thing falls down closer to $20, that's going to be huge for me, and I'm going to be a big buyer of Terra Luna. Another one I'm looking at is Swissborg. We'll see where CHSB goes. That's another platform, community-driven token. But those are really the ones that, where did CJ's charts go? Now I got nothing to put up. But
I'll share them. I'll reshare them.
Those are two that I'm paying attention to right now in the short term closely. And StormX, to what Monty said, I'm looking for the opportunity to ape back in as they speak. I've been slowly accumulating.
Yeah, I bought some VGX yesterday and today. Not as in an eccentric fashion as our friend Pat Ackerman, but good time to get it. I liked it here below $4.
Yeah. So this is actually my chart. I hijacked it from you, CJ. That's what happens when you stop sharing. You lose your privileges. But I just want to quickly reference one thing that we talk about all the time, and that's Chaikin money flow here. And we started off the show talking about that Coinbase news. I think we're seeing a good demonstration of that sort of effect here, of that locking up of capital and new inflow of capital into the space. And we put in a nice little higher low here in the CMF. So nice positive divergence that we've seen over the last what's it been here, about a month or so, almost exactly over a month, that we put in this positive divergence here. And you can see that in the price action. This is not just a rally that could be lost really quick. We're getting a ton of money flowing into the space, and it's just really nice to see that even after this pullback here where people took some profits, we're getting a bounce back and a continuation of this positive divergence in the CMF. So I definitely like what I'm seeing from this perspective as well.
How's gold and silver holding up? I see those on your watch list over on the right side.
Gold ticker shift.
They're holding in. Gold is, at least. Let's check silver. Ooh.
Also, Monty, we have we have Ethereum on the rise here as well. So if we can, let's take a look at the DeFi lockup chart and see how the increased value of Ethereum has increased that number a little.
Yeah. I'm on a new computer here, so it doesn't have it saved.
I'm just gonna show Ethereum real quick. It's going up, but unlike Bitcoin, where sentiment is now is going up with price, Ethereum is rising. Sentiment slowly going up. So we'll take a look at that and see how that moves. But wow, there we go. I love that chart.
Yeah, I love it too. And it's same thing with that CMF flow. It's kind of an analogous thing here. Obviously, that a lot of this rally over the last 30 days has been bolstered by the performance of ETH, but there is some actual true value locked up being added here. And it's not surprising who's leading the way: Aave, Curve, Compound, the sort of blue chips of the space. And I think Aave has done a great job of kind of extending beyond DeFi and tapping into sort of the NFT plays as well. The Aave Gachis got pretty popular for a bit, but I think that this is just very encouraging, seeing this DeFi speculation happening even during a sort of positively trending market, because a lot of times we see DeFi accelerate most often when the market is range bound, but we're getting positive price action across the board, and even increased speculation in DeFi as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what we were looking for to see happen, was that, search for yield and DeFi to happen alongside the bull market. Because to your point, I feel like money was bleeding out during the range bound cycles and people were just going into yielding and then they'd forget about it and bounce back. But here we are again. You go down to the Aave lockup, 16.14 billion. Instadap. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Instadap is new to that second place fixing.
Yeah, most definitely is.
Look at those. It's nice. I like it. Now, what do we got? Yep, looking good. All right. CJ, what are we looking at with, we covered Elliott Wave yesterday. We have a couple of other pattern analysis out there. How's stock to flow doing with regards, and any hint at at Pi?
Stock to flow is looking great. Pi cycle top is not looking as if it's calling a top signal anytime soon. We'd have to increase substantially to get that. But I mean, we're pretty much just grooving along here, entering the yellow to green territory in terms of days still having. Yep, there we go. Just starting that green phase. And if you can look at the previous cycles, I mean, my favorite period of each cycle is when we get from the yellow to green territory, because that's when the most exciting stuff happens. And I think that, of course, the 2013 and 2014 bull market cycle is entirely different to what we're seeing now in terms of fundamentals. But when you talk about pure technical structure, obviously this is a logarithmic chart. So I don't expect Bitcoin to increase in the manner in which it did going off the 2013 and 2014 rally. Nevertheless, I think we're starting that second leg up, very similar to how we did it in 2013.
And that second leg in 2013 is mighty nice. Very cool. So then with regards to the pie top, it's not showing, but are we still matching along? Remember, we've flip-flopped back and forth on this a couple of times over the course of the last year, whether it's too new an indicator to actually bear any correctness, or, and then other times we've said, listen, look, this thing's starting to match pretty perfectly. How is our indicators looking right now, CJ?
If we're talking strictly about macro data models like reserve risk, stock to flow, pi cycle top, a lot of them are giving us metrics that are very similar to 2013 and 2014 in terms of like overbought and oversold levels. In 2013 and 2014, we intersected the pi cycle top on this chart. You can see behind me 2 times. We did it with the first leg up, and then obviously on that second leg, that was the true top. 2017, we only did it once, and that was pretty much very close to our top at 18 to 19,000 as well. And if we go to our most recent points, we can see that we did have that intersection just after hitting 65K at around, let's see, this is precisely at around 57K. So just under our top. And so you're right, Alex. We were very dismissive of it. I kept saying, it's back tested data that is perfected to fit. But now that I've actually watched it play out live, I have to respect it now. And if it crosses again, even if we get up to say 80 or 90,000 and we hit that intersection, I'm going to respect the pi cycle top more than the actual stock to flow model, if that makes sense. I still think we likely will hit 100,000, if not by the end of the year, then shortly after, a month or two after that, the year 2022 starts. But if we get, say, an intersection on the pi cycle top at like 90,000, I'm going to look to exit with that signal, because now that we've all seen it work in real time, I think even more eyes are on it. But yeah.
Monty, what are you following as far as an indicator? Which one is playing into your favor?
Yeah, no. So there's a couple, macro indicators that I like to turn to. Definitely the one I mentioned earlier, the CMF, check and money flow. Great indication of, when there is a genuine rally happening. Like CJ said with the pi cycle top, in retrospect, the CMF was a great indication that we actually had topped, even though we continued to make some higher highs. The market was exhausted, the trend was exhausted, and that was rally kind of bolstered by leverage. Now we're seeing something different, so I'll definitely be watching that, to perhaps turn down as we get to a top here at the end of the market cycle. But also Bitcoin difficulty ribbons, courtesy of Willy Woo. Those are always, critical to watch. Also, one thing CJ pointed out last week that I think is definitely worth watching as well is the Bitcoin weekly chart and the Williams alligators turning up. Those are looking pretty bullish, and I think as long as those continue to turn up and not, compress and flatten out or even reverse, this trend is sustained. So last one, Heikin-Ashi candles. CJ can speak to this more because I know he loves referencing them. But, once we saw that flip to green, it's a great indication that the trend's beginning. But yeah, lots of different ones to watch out for, and they're all kind of telling us, that it's a time to be bullish right now.
Yeah, it's exciting times in the market. I'll give a quick. I have here's something that's a little fun. On the daily or the hourly sentiment, Litecoin is topping it. Huge spike in sentiment. I don't know exactly what's driving this, except for the fact that maybe, actually, you know what? I just saw something on Litecoin happening, and it had to do with one of
Smart
our
contracts are coming to Litecoin. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it had to do more with another VGX hero, and that would be Landon Castle, who will be speaking August 25th on a live stream with look at that, with Charlie Lee and also Parker and some other cats. So maybe that's the happy sentiment in the market today. Who knows? Litecoin in for the win. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Sorry for the upsetting, clunky beginning and stuff. You know, I kind of scared everybody. They're like, whoa, it's just Alex. I want the cool kids. But don't worry. We'll get it right next time. Guys, don't forget, check out marketrebellion.com/crypto. Also, the daily crypto bite details are in the description below. Also, it is the 20th of August. Our VIP NASCAR experience contest is 10 days from conclusion. Check out the details down in the description as well. Also, have a great weekend. That's priority number one. And smash the like button on your way out the door, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in on our anniversary edition.